I was so discouraged and humbled by the real world of saturated market. Like I went through more than 15 interviews to land only 3 positions and 2 days each job. So I already start lying on my CV to land a job. I need to make a reel about it.
This is Dr. Besmer with the Educated Associate Podcast, and we had the honor of interviewing Dr. Artyom New York. He is rising rapidly in social media fame for dentists in all the right reasons, and we wanted to learn a little bit more about his personal story, which I find very motivational. And without further ado, here's the podcast.
Hello, hey Alex, how are you?
Good. Can you hear us okay, first of all?
Yes, yes.
Okay, and see us.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
Thanks for hopping on.
Yeah. Oh my God. Thank you. So, I mean, we can get right into it. 3 separate jobs, right? For you?
Wicked cool.
Yeah. Dr. Artyom, you're working 3 jobs?
Yes. If including my Saturdays job, I work 2 Saturdays a month at the fourth office, so basically 4, but currently mainly in 3 offices.
Okay. That's pretty wicked.
Yeah. I would love, because I feel like everyone, they get out of school, us very spoiled Americans. Oh, I want that one associateship, the mentor doc. But what I love most about your content is its honesty. And everyone on social media, kind of like that guy that you posted about making $42,000, that's the exception. And you are living what reality is and you're showing people, right? So how did all of these jobs come about?
Yeah. So if we start from the very beginning, I also believe in the idea of one full-time job. So I moved rural. I've been reading on the dental nachos. You need to go rural to make a living. I'm like, okay, let's do it. But what I realized is, so my income was better, but not as much as I would hate the life in rural. Maybe for some people it works better. In my case, after 3 months, I decided no, I'd rather sacrifice the slightly better income. And I didn't expect that you not only need to move to rural area, but it's not only about the area. If you move to rural area, but you still cannot perform or cannot communicate to the patients well, in the rural, the same exact people, with the same exact, almost the same exact mentality as the people in any other city. They have more needs, but you still need to be a good communicator, a good performer. So then I moved closer to New York because even though my nickname on Instagram is New York, Dr. Artyom New York, the only reason why I put it is because I live in New York and I'm planning to live in New York for like in future.
Okay.
Then I start looking for a full-time position. Impossible to find it. So I was looking for 2 months. They just in saturated market, they don't want to give to a random dentist 5 days a week all of their patients. I don't know who these people are who do the full-time position as a fresh grad. Maybe it's rural area. So what I was thinking is there might be a reason why if you land this position, like something wrong with the practice. Either they cannot find an associate, or which is usually in rural area, or if it's saturated market and you found a job in Dallas or in LA or in Miami, there's something wrong. Like they wouldn't look for an associate if everything's running perfectly. And that's how I ended up with 3 different jobs, working 2 days a week at each of them.
Tony,
Those are some good points. I was going to say,
you're doing something similar?
So I work a couple different spots as well. They're all within the same corporation, but like similar problem. They had me at one clinic where I was doing 4 or 5 days a week. and there just was not nearly the volume. And for a year, I was telling them, this isn't working. You're just paying me to sit here a lot of days. So then they started swinging me out to a couple other clinics, and it's been far easier to do. But you said two things that I kind of wanted to circle back to. Um, and I think they have tremendous value. Number one, you said the going rural thing and your experience with that. I had a classmate. I've been out about 5 years, and I had a classmate that his goal, he read all the blogs. He was going to make as much money in his first 6 months out of school. He went insanely rural in the middle of nowhere in New Mexico, and he had a very similar experience. He had great income. He could travel every weekend if he wanted.
Yeah.
But he was like, I hate my life here. I just hate my life every single day. He lasted, like, similar to you, 3 or 4 months, and he rolled out back to a city. He's back in Denver, where we're from, and so much happier with less income. So, like, that's something that I know you've made posts about that, but I just wanted to make sure everyone heard that.
Yeah.
If income's all you care about, do it. But I find that a lot of people don't find any happiness in those areas. And so I appreciated those comments.
Yeah. It's definitely not for everyone.
Mm-hmm. No.
And it almost seems like the income is not, you think automatically rural, rich, as in
Yes.
you'll make money, but
No.
not even. And what I love most about your post, so we were Dr. Artyom and I, you were saying your English isn't that good. Your English is great, by the way,
Thank
but
you.
you are a great communicator, at least online, to young or old dentists, right? So something tells me you're also a great communicator with patients. And so that no matter where you are, saturated, not saturated, rural, not rural, you have to communicate so well, efficiently. You were a dentist in Russia, right?
Technically, yes. But right after I graduated, I didn't even take the ADEX exam over there. So I got my diploma and I left. So the plan was to move right after, so it didn't make sense to
Okay.
spend extra time, energy on the licensing.
Mm-hmm.
So can you talk about, you've told your
Yeah, I
story a
wanna know
little
about
bit, but I
this.
think people don't understand how hard it is
Yeah.
for a foreign dentist to being in. So at the office I'm working at, there's a Hispanic, she's a dentist from another nation. I don't know what nation, unfortunately, but she's an assistant. We actually have a Ukrainian dentist who's our hygienist. And so to be a dentist in another nation and then to become a dentist here
Yeah.
is so incredibly hard. So just talk about that. Tell us your story.
While I was back then, it was a COVID, so I was just
Okay.
we knew that we were going to move because my family thoughts, not only me and my wife, my parents, my grandparents, they were all thinking towards it's getting worse over there in Russia. So even though my grandfather was a dentist, my mom is a dental technician, so they were living pretty good lives there. Like they all had apartments, houses, jobs. My father had like a small business, but after they moved, they basically left everything behind, and all of that pressure that um, basically they lost everything. I had to sustain that pressure because when they moved here, um, all they had to do here is um to work super low paying like minimum pay jobs. My father is still work as a truck driver. So in my mind, when I all of them doing like super heavy hard jobs. So in my mind, I thought, okay, if I become a dentist, they're all covered. They're going to like I'm going to retire them easily. But then after I went through all that process, which is not easy at all, because even for the traditional students to get in is still hard. Like the acceptance rate around like 4 or 5%. So it's slightly less for the foreign trained dentists. So I thought, okay, I'll do it. But no, after I graduated, I realized I cannot even sustain like my family needs because um, my wife I'm now pregnant. She doesn't work. So to live in a saturated market, in a good city, in a normal apartment, with all the loans is not sustainable. Sorry, I slightly went off
Mm.
from the.
No,
Um,
no, no.
That was so good.
Yeah.
That was so
I
good.
okay.
so my parents are immigrants from the Soviet Union, what is now the Ukraine. And my dad's parents, my dad's mom was a dentist, and my dad's dad was the technician. And Artyom, I'm curious if you have stories, but you said they had an apartment, they had a small business. In America, that's like wonderful. In the Soviet Union, in Russia, in the Ukraine, not everyone had that. My parents would tell me it was like 16 people in a 500 square foot apartment. Um, our
Wow.
parents like to
Yeah.
embellish things, but even if it's 8, 9, that's how it
Yeah.
was. But my dad would tell me stories. He was not a great student in school, but because they had a little bit of money, the teacher would come over for dinner and you give them like a bottle of vodka, you give them a bottle of wine, and then suddenly my dad's grades got a little bit better. Do you have any stories like that out of
It,
film? Like,
yeah, it's funny that I actually had similar story because whenever I was so to get in dental school, you need to get the LORs, letters of recommendations. So I also did it with my dean to get my letter of recommendation from over there. So yeah, kind of,
Nice.
yeah,
kind of.
Yeah.
people don't really get that, life, even though people think America's corrupt or whatever, it's a lot more straightforward here
Yeah,
and than it is overseas.
and it's also
But
funny how
Artyom,
you call my like real name because people I already got used to like Dr. Artem. So because I'm trying to make the life easier for patients and for staff,
right,
they say like Artem, but because you know Russian, you say the
the
real
the
way.
How
closer, yeah,
frustrating is that? I want to know how, like, obviously I'm white boy from America, so I have the issues that you guys deal with, and specifically you, like, I would have said your name wrong and I would have just done the typical white guy thing and assumed I was right. So and I think my buddy that I spoke about previously, he kind of did the same thing. He's a Vietnamese man
Yeah.
and he's from Vietnam and he's not going to battle people. So like, does that beat you up internally, or do you just like, I don't care?
It does. But most of the time, it's not about how hard it is for me, like physically or emotionally, because of me and like my wife. But because as a dentist, we still know that at some point we're gonna like break free, basically, financially, because I'm a fresh grad. So I understand that at some point it's going to be a lot more of success, maybe my own dental practice. But because my parents and my grandparents, they sacrificed like 10 to 20 years of their lives, that's where it hits because I understand that like money will come, but at that point, yeah, money will
Yeah.
come, but I won't help them at that point because who knows like what's gonna happen like in 10 to 15 years. So
Yep.
that's where it hits. But um, as far as for me, I can live in like very average apartment. My wife is not super picky. I don't have a car. I'm leasing a car, so I still paying my credit cards from my dental school that I used. I'm
oh
Same,
my
dude.
God,
Yeah, I had 70K when I mine's gone now, but I had 70K when I graduated. So I
yeah,
think this is like another thing I've seen you post about, that so many people aren't, they're not honest. People don't honestly say where they're at with their finances.
yeah,
And I don't know if they're embarrassed or what, but what you're describing is true for a lot of people that grew up their whole lives here in America. I think they had to battle through school. They have no money. They're living in an average apartment.
yeah.
They're certainly not driving luxury vehicles. And
And
you're just making those steps.
and that's one of the reasons why those posts about that guy got like after 3 days, it's already more than 100K views because
Uh-huh.
most of the people I know, my classmates, the friends that been out of school for 3 to 5 years, like 9 out of 10, they most of like struggle. They're not
Yep.
like they cannot
Yep.
afford much stuff, even though they're dentists,
Hmm.
even though some of them are in rural. But when then you open the Instagram in between patients and you see some dude makes like
Right.
50K a month.
Yep.
Yeah.
It
And
So
demoralizes you too.
yeah.
So that's why I also think it's awesome is because so many people I know I was in that boat like, my God, I've never made 50K in a month and I'm 5 years out. Like, how's this cat pulling that off? So no, I
have
like that
you
you're doing that.
have you talked to him at all? Like, have you guys communicated?
No. So recently I noticed that he hides his stories from me. He didn't block me, but he did hide his stories from me. Um So I was not even watching him before, but because my friends was sending me all the time, like I for the whole day, my classmates, my friends, my colleagues, like everyone been sending it to me. So now I also got this idea
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
yeah. So um I like that he's making that much money, that he's successful. But what I don't like is that he's saying stuff like, I spent more time in clinic and dental school, and that's why I make so much money.
Hmm.
I asked more questions. The faculties, like faculties, they've been there for 30 years. The stuff that most of them try to explain, like expansion for retention, stuff like that. That it's been super like old school. I've been doing I did amalgams in school, so I don't know like what kind of faculty in task. Maybe their clinics is so much stronger. I don't know, but how the guy like after delivering 20 or 30 crowns in school in the good case scenario can do
Best case.
can
Yeah.
do full mouth rehabs and stuff like this.
I'll
Um,
say this. Every school, at least my experience was, every class at my dental school had one cat like that came out and did a full mouth rehab, like on their first person out of school. And I can think of the guy in my class that was that human too, and he doesn't have a social media account, but
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like there's always that one dentist that's I don't know the ball or the
yeah.
whatever you want to say. I did. You said something a little change of topic, I guess. Um, Circling back, I think a lot of people, myself included, when I was going through dental school, I felt immense pressure. I had a lot of things I could fall back on. My parents have reasonable jobs here in the US. What you described was a situation that I don't think, certainly I can't even imagine it. You moved with a lot of family members. A lot of family members are in some ways anticipating you getting to this good job and this great income and all of these things, and you've had to manage all those expectations. How do you deal with that in the family aspect?
So far, I've been doing. I feel like, but like every year, if I look back, I'm getting um slightly more advanced into the career, into everything, the income.
Uh-huh.
So the Florida allows foreign trained dentists to work as a dental hygienist. So I
Uh-huh.
worked as a dental assistant in New York when I moved. Then I moved to Florida, also where Alex lives in St.
Uh-huh.
Pete. Um,
Uh-huh.
then I worked as a hygienist for a year. My income slightly increased, no, not slightly increased, significantly increased after being assistant. Then
Uh-huh.
I got accepted to dental school while I was in dental school. So the problem for foreign dentists is if you don't have a green card or citizenship, a government don't let you get FAFSA. And then when they try to
Uh,
get the private loans, they say we need to they want a cosigner who have a citizenship because what if tomorrow Trump will kick you out of the country? Who knows? So
yeah.
they need
Yep.
a cosigner. And then you try to find a person who's gonna co-sign your loans. That's where another
Uh-huh.
problem comes up. So um I don't know. I was super lucky to find that person because my wife's father best friend from 20 years ago moved from Russia to LA. He has his own dental office over there. And he's like, yeah, of course I'll
Okay.
do this. Like he supported me. So without it,
Oh, that's great.
I would still work probably in as a hygienist in St. Pete.
I had no idea that that's what a lot of the foreign dentists had to march through to get their loans. I'd never even thought about it through that lens. That's
Yeah.
that's
And that's
crazy.
part of the reason why I had to, along the dental school, I had to open the credit cards with zero APR. And my wife
Mhm.
also was opening credit cards. And then the last semester, we're like, we had issues with the cosigner because the cosigner said, no, like it's too many already. He already gave his son documents to do all that stuff. So we had to max out the credit cards, my wife's credit cards. Like her credit score ruined, but for a
Mhm.
good purpose. No, I
Of
still was
getting you to your goal.
yeah, I still was able to make it. So now we're just paying it off. So um
Good for you guys.
yeah, I feel it worth it. Even though I'm complaining about the dentistry, I still like believe in it.
Mhm.
Long run, it's gonna pay off 100%.
Yeah.
I think as American born English speaking dental students, we obviously take a lot for granted. First of all, we'd never had even currently with the new loan laws, it's much easier for us to go to a
Mhm.
public or private source and they'll just, we don't need a cosigner. Like, let's be honest, a lot of people in dental school, I feel like dental schools want to act like we're giving these people opportunity. I don't know. In my dental school class, a lot of people were upper middle class or more wealthy. Um,
For sure.
this myth that like, oh my God, dentistry is this way for more poor people. There absolutely were some, but it's more the exception, I'd say, that proves the rule. But not only that, we have access to money, we have the language. How did you learn English? When did you learn English? And what was it like studying at an American dental school with English as your second language?
Mhm.
Um, when I moved to Brooklyn, I was living in Brighton Beach, so all of our patients was speaking Russian, doctors speaking
Mhm.
Russian. It's like basically Chinatown for Russians.
Okay.
So still felt like I was back. I was still there. I was living, but still in
Okay.
Russia because everything's still the same. The culture, the mentality, everything the same. Even though the location was like in New York. Then after I moved to Florida, my English was getting slightly better, and I was still young. I moved when I was 23, so I was still. It wasn't that hard for me to learn English. And also in dental school, 2.5 years program. Also, every day you speak English, so it's getting better and better. I don't think that my English is still that good to you know to get good connection with the patient, but it works out pretty well so far.
You're totally understandable and everything, and you're articulate. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I would say I would not notice
I
any
guess
weird or
my
whatever.
question more was about like taking tests. You don't just go to dental school, you have to pass dental school.
Yeah,
And they try and
And
trick you with the terminology.
yeah.
right.
Like it's all a trick. Yeah.
So um, the difference between Russian dental school and United States is in Russian dental school, all the exams are verbal. Most of them, they're verbal.
Mm,
So you draw the question, like the random question, and then you need to prove to the faculty that you know the topic. It's much, much harder. Over here, most of the exams are tests, which is you can basically, even if you don't know the answer, you still can guess. So as long as you know, not the basic, but like intermediate level English, and you were studying for um, some time, you'll be good. Like it's much
mhm,
harder to get into dental school than to go through it. Much harder. As long as you're in the list, most like 9 out of 10 people, I think, make it.
mhm.
They also, because schools, they want to weed out
Yeah,
the not so qualified people, but
yeah,
even if one falls through, no school wants probably other schools to know that they had failures.
yeah.
They will find a way for you to graduate,
Mm.
right?
Yep.
um that's so interesting because and I want to switch the topic to social media because I know that's what everyone is really interested in your approach to social media. But I see all these dental students, and you forget how much time you had in college, in dental school in the United States. Um,
Yeah.
People are so stressed. Oh my God, I have to go to class and then I have to study and then sim lab. And I'm like, first of all, you guys don't know what a real job is like. You have most people, you have no families, you don't have a real job, you know? Um, and then they get out into the real world and it's like, holy smokes, like you have so much less time. Yeah, you have so much less time. And again, when you go through every level, we graduated in middle school and then we went to high school, like, oh my God, this is so hard. And then you got to college, and although you had more time, you were like, oh my God, these classes are so hard. And then you get to dental, so they don't know anymore. But like, obviously, Dr. Abdul, like, you had a family. I don't, did you had to take out the credit card, so you probably didn't have a job to support them, but you didn't know the language. You probably had to study twice as much, even if it's just to recognize the words that people don't understand what real life stress is. I've started getting gray hairs. I've been a dentist for a year, and I've had significantly more gray hairs in this 1 year. Um, but to put the focus back on you, you seem to really know what's going on. You didn't just become a dentist. You started a very specific social media profile based on honesty. Because all I see, and I fell for the same trap, all these European dentists that all have microscopes and the preps that are perfect. And yeah, and
So
again, I think you can use social media for good. I get discouraged, but it's more of, that's the standard I want to be at one day. But it doesn't mean everything looks like that. And so just talk about when you decided, I'm going to make Dr. Artyom New York,
yeah.
what was the idea and motivation behind it?
Right after I quit my rural job, I was so discouraged and humbled by the real world of saturated market. Like, I went through more than 15 interviews to land only 3 positions and 2 days each job. So I already start lying on my CV to only to land a job. I need to make a reel about it. Like, I was so
You
discouraged.
should make a reel about that. Yeah.
I was so discouraged that I cannot land a job, that because whenever you put the true stuff, they're like, oh no, like, there's in the saturated market, there's a guy who's been doing like something else. So there's no way to land a job, even though they don't check. So technically you can do it. So I already pushed my graduation year slightly. 2 years back.
Nobody checks, probably.
I was getting more interviews, but I still kept the ones that I used my real CV, because of how close it is to the border between the New York and New Jersey. So the that game is real. So when I moved to New York, and I had to find a job in between the New Jersey and New York, like on the border, to not commute for more than an hour each way, which I'm doing it right now. Like, my commute takes around an hour each way to the job.
Exhausting.
I thought that to support my income, I have to have something. I've heard that people on social media can land some deals. So far, nothing. Even though, like, after 2 months, after 2 months of like doing 2 months is actually amazing results. Like, almost like 18K. Like, after 2 months is amazing, but
Yeah.
still, the only deal I landed was the free loops. One of the brands were going to send me free loops, which still, like, it's 4K. Um, yeah, and that's how I started it. So I started my page actually for the patients, but then I saw, when I start posting about myself, it gets it gets viral. So whenever I was honest, I was not copying the other ideas, it gets
Mhm.
viral easy.
That's one crazy
I
viral.
think honesty is
I'm still on my
scary.
coffee. I'm still on.
Oh yeah, like honesty is scary because everyone. It's funny about this guy that did the full mouth rehabs, and I tell my patients all the time, I can put a crown on anything. Trust me, I can glue it on there. The question is, how long is it going to last? And I see a lot of these young docs posting their full mouth rehabs. And we don't know how good the quality, just because you did it, like the point of dentistry is for it to last. And what you're doing is posting your successes and your failures. You know, we care about perfect, but what matters is clinical acceptability, right? We've all had those patients. They've got a crown that's 40 years old with an open margin, no decay, and perfectly fine. And I'm sure you've done the work. Tony just sent me this picture he did, like an upper molar endo, and it looks great. The x-rays look great. Reinfected in 6 months, right? And so dentists naturally have a lot of pressure on themselves to be perfect, which is good. People be like, oh, don't be a, no. I want my dentist to have a lot of pressure. I want them to do really great work, but we do not get up to that standard. So what was it like for you to post those failures and that honesty? Honestly, you seem like a guy who you wanted a deal. You would, you're going to post about yourself, and it doesn't really matter. But I think it takes a lot of courage to put yourself out there like that.
Yeah. I knew that my classmates watching, especially the ones from Eastern Europe, the ones you were talking about that work with microscope, they do all the fillings with rubber dam. Like the stuff that I post for my classmates is like a nightmare. So the Eastern European colleagues, I knew that it's going to cause like something in there, but I do it mostly for the United States dentist to show that um, we all deal with with similar issues. Like we're not unique. I posted the perforation. Most of the people, if not all, who do it enough, even though they at some point they'll do perforation.
They're lying if they say they haven't. They are 100% lying.
And those dentists who post perfect cases, to get to that point, they probably perforated 1,000 times more than that
Yep.
video was.
Yep. That's another thing that's so true. And you guys were talking about like perfect crowns, and I have two comments there. Number one, if you just post the crown on top of the tooth, no one knows
No
what your
one
work
knows
looks
what's
like
going on
underneath.
underneath.
It
Yeah.
could be an atrocity, and the lab should be getting the credit, And then I would say, I guess I lost my train of thought where I was going to go with that. But yeah, I was going to say, like, that's the kind of stuff that I just, irks me a little bit.
And we were talking about that guy who does full mouth rehabs. If you can do single crown, you can do full mouth rehabs, but it's not about the preps and about delivery. It's about the treatment planning, to find the VGO, to go through temporaries properly. Like without that experience, how can you? Like it's not hard. If you let dental student do the full mouth, you can also do this. But it's about what's
All of it, putting it together. Yeah.
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 I saw a comment on one of it's either Real World Dentistry or Dental Clinical Pearls, where some kid was like, yeah, I did a full mouth rehab my second year out of school, and it was a disaster. I don't know if you had to like refund the money back or whatever, but it was just because you can do it doesn't mean you shouldn't. But where do all your ideas come from? Because I'm seeing it's not just the honesty, it's not just the quality, but it's also the quantity of the work you're putting out there, which is I'm finding my biggest issue. Like I'm trying to I had an idea yesterday that I need to post, but I feel like finding dental related content over and over, even though we do it all the time, I can't think of enough things about dentistry to talk about. So how do you get all these ideas? What's your system like?
So if you're hungry enough, you'll find an idea. Trust me. Like you can, if someone like tells you, okay, try to make it to like 20 or 50K followers within like next year, you're gonna say like, no, it's gonna be hard, etc., etc. But if someone says, okay, one of your relatives is gonna like die if you don't do this. This is like all about the motivation. It's not like you
Yes.
cannot.
No, you're right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I promise you, any of us can do like they can make a personal brand. They can do a lot of stuff, but because when they come home, they tired. It's just a matter of priority. So I work 6 days a week. This is the only day that I'm not working today, and today I can. So the one of the local journal wants to write an article about me. So the next meeting going to be it's not big journals like 40,000.
Doesn't matter.
Yes.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Give yourself some credit. That's all. I don't
Yeah.
have a journal wanting to write about me, you know?
Same.
Another thing is that I'm to have some pocket money during dental school. I started to help foreign trained dentists to get into dental school to make their CV stand out. I'm still doing it. So after that, so you see, um, I do like 6 days a week. Um, I do the consult for the foreign trained dentists. I do like different sort of stuff, and then at the end of the day, I make. So last month I made 18,000. That guy, he does 18,000 like in 2 weeks. Even
Yeah.
though like I have no free time. So maybe I'm just jealous. Who knows? But
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, we all are. I
That's
mean, I
just
don't
another
think,
honest. Everyone would want to make 42 racks a
yeah,
month.
are you,
Like, yeah.
and I, people are like, oh, you shouldn't be jealous. No, no, no. Like maybe I'm the wrong guy to talk to. Be jealous,
yeah.
but you know, you can use it in a, jealousy doesn't mean you have to like be mean to people. It means you have to work to get there. I think people forget. I wrote a book once. I deleted it. I didn't publish it, but it was about balance and self-care and how all these people who say they
Oh,
need
I
more
got to read this.
self-care. No, I can't find it. I deleted it. But
Oh, damn it.
I was so, the title of the book was going to be Imbalance,
Yeah.
because I think these people who are like, you need to live a balanced life.
Mhm.
If you want to accomplish anything of note, no, you can't. You shouldn't.
Yeah.
Like Dr. Artyom, he's got 3 to 4 jobs, also a wife and a kid. Oh, you're
Yep.
pregnant with your
And
second
the,
kid?
the second on the way.
He's shoveling snow.
Right. Shoveling snow, consulting with foreign trained dentists. And the amount of time it takes to, even with little editing, you know, to write the text, to hit publish and wait till it uploads, it takes time throughout your day. So when you say, oh, you're a dental student and, you know, studying is hard and you need balance. No, you really, I mean, wow, I don't know if this is going to catch flack or I'll get speared on the internet, but you don't, you know, like you can work harder. And I think that's what you learn as you start doing more, you can handle more.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And Dr. Artyom, like the little we've talked, you don't seem depressed. You don't seem like you hate your life. Um, you know, I think having family and a kid is very meaningful. I don't have that yet, unfortunately, but I mean, you work really hard and you still made time to talk to us and you seem like a pretty happy guy, you know, all things said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am happy. I wouldn't say that I'm like miserable. It's a lot of stuff to do, but all of us super lucky. Like if you get the in any other countries, most of the countries, like 9 out of 10 countries, they live much harder life. They like to make the same amount of money. They need to like, especially like in third world countries. If you travel to any of those countries, you would appreciate much more like United States. Um, so it's just about the like perspective, I'd say, because what I was going to say, um, dentists in Russia, in Europe, all over, they've been texting me with their salary, what they make. We're super lucky, not only because we live like in to some extent lawful lawful country. I'm not going to get into politics, but um, yeah, like financially, economically, it's amazing over here. Like you can
I
make
also,
you can make
So true.
millions. Like I saw the interview with Dr. Webster. I actually it's good. Might be a little advertisement, but right out of dental school, I got his his mentor.
Mhm.
I thought, okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna maximize my potential. I'm gonna open the practice in rural. I got his course, and at the step of where gets the finances, I didn't qualify. I went to 5 different banks, and the Trump banned get any business loans for non-citizens. So before Trump, when I was in dental school, I called those same banks, and they said, "Yeah, everything's fine, even without cosigner, it's okay." Now after Trump is there,
Mhm.
no. So
Interesting.
yeah, this is the only
Yeah.
big C that I got from Dr. Webster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
if
great.
anyone doesn't know, it's called practice biopsy. Um, the way I explain it is I always said you can't learn business, you do business.
Mhm.
I was very wrong. He can actually teach the business of dentistry, not like
Yeah.
leadership, but actually what you need to do from A to Z to open a practice. So it's funny. I've been meeting and talking to dentists, and everyone's either heard of it or taken it. You know, we Dr. Greer and high level dental producers. I'm seeing his stuff more and more. I think he's gaining traction, but
Mhm.
that's the sort of CE that I think can make or break a career.
Mhm.
Cause you can, I mean, you can make a living, class twos and crowns, honestly. Everyone's like,
Totally.
oh yeah, you add specialty endo. A good friend of mine, she owns 2 offices here. She is amazing. I think she does very little endo, no implants. She does restorative, operative, crown and bridge and extractions. Invisalign, done. You know, so again, on this point of honesty, that you don't have to do it all. You probably will make less. Like, let's be honest. But the question is, how much is enough? Right? That's
Mhm.
how much we want to make is enough.
Mhm.
Um, kind of going back to social media, I am still embarrassed and fearful to post things, at least myself talking and some ideas. How do you manage putting your phone or camera in clinic and
Yeah.
getting those shots? Like,
Yeah.
just like, how do you talk to patients? How do you clear it with your boss if you do? So yeah, can you explain that?
Um, I didn't I didn't tell to my assistant, to the bosses. They all figure out from their feed. So they didn't even follow me. But at some point, the front desk receptionist came to me and said, "Hey, I saw your video about Dr. Appa." Then assistant in another job, "Hey, I saw your video." So somehow all the bosses realize that I'm doing it, and they all fire. So as far as I'm aware, you can make those kind of videos as long as they cannot identify the patient. So if it's from the back, from the side, as long as you their face is covered, you should be fine. So you don't
Mhm.
have to, as far as I know. Again, I'm not a lawyer, but as far as I know, if you cover their face or if they're in glasses and you make a video from the side, it should be good. And also, my
Mhm.
assistant at first, they were fine. Like whenever I was putting camera behind the patient, they were kind of like, was slightly um, trying to stay further away from the patient to not get in the camera. But
Uh,
now they got used to it.
yeah.
Even so, this is the thing. So whenever I work 3 to 4 jobs, even if one of them will fire me, I'm okay. Like I
Yeah.
accept it because whenever you go, when I had the full time position, I was worrying. What will boss think about the treatment? What will boss think about like my class two? Was so hard. It looks so ugly on the X-ray. What will he think? Now I go to job. I'm ready. Like they can fire me any day. I
Yeah.
will lose 2 days, and the next day I'll go try to get this field. And also because I work right now 6 days a week, I feel like at some point I'll need to stop. So even if I lose one of them, for my Instagram, it's going to be even better, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna have more time to do it. I have so many. If you guys see my notes on my iPhone, I have so many ideas what to do. I already find the dental office that I wanna go. I want, um, I already found the office like with the lowest Google rating to go get a cleaning done. Like there's so many ideas.
That is killer. I'm excited to see that one, man. That's gonna be hilarious.
but I don't have time to do it because most of the offices don't work on Sunday. And I also found another office on Manhattan who charge for a consult for the new patient exam 950. And I always,
Wow.
yeah, I was just calling random offices and I was asking like the top rated dental office in Manhattan. So there's a lot of ideas. I just don't have time to do
That, but that's really cool. Also, I think for other dentists to see and patients, but we always kind of think more about dentists because there are a trillion different ways you can practice. Like to hear that someone's collecting almost $1,000 and then you're just coming in to see them. That's like med spa status. Like you're trying to get filler and boat.
Yeah.
Like that's, and I think, I'm sure Dr. Appa and some of these huge names like Rubenstein and some of the other ones you've thrown in there, you got 20 years, you've got this major personal brand. I get it. But to hear that maybe somebody that is not social media famous is doing that,
yeah.
it kind of gives credence to different practice styles and ways you can practice. It's just my like one question I just got to ask. I've had it written down and I haven't had a good opportunity to throw it in, but in terms of just the straight dentistry,
Mhm,
what you got trained in Russia compared to here,
mhm.
very similar, mostly similar, vastly different. What would you say? I'm just super curious about dentistry around the world.
Over there, so that it's not that the Eastern European dentists or European dentists are better than US dentists. It's just the system in the United States forces dentists to do the dentistry certain way. So if you work in Russia, there's a free healthcare. So basically, all of the people have Medicaid. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter like how much they make. All of the people, all the citizens, they have Medicaid. Medicaid facilities, the hospitals, they do pretty low quality dentistry, which you also see here most of the time with the Medicaid offices. But most of the dental offices, which is a private section in Russia, so they don't have to deal with insurances. All of the private offices, they fee for service. So imagine all of us would be only collecting cash without having to deal with all that like low fees from the insurances.
Mhm.
You can make so it's going to be so the level would be so much higher, and that's what's going on in Russia because there's no insurances who eat the huge portion of money. Like they just stay in between the patient and the dentist. There's another person who takes most of the money. Like we're not
Mhm.
and we need to play it cool because we want to keep the patient. We want to, do some work on him. He needs to trust us. But we cannot say like, hey, we can say, but most of the time it doesn't happen that the data say, no, this insurance is crap. Like, get rid of it. So over
Mhm.
there, all the dentists, they're fee for service, which allows them to do fillings with rubber dam, have microscope, even though they make way less money, but because they all fee for service, they can't afford all that stuff. And that's why you see over there they do so many like onlays, inlays, some fancy courses. Um, Over here they just forced to do stuff certainly. So it's not the dentists that are better. It's the system is different. You cannot compare.
I love that perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
such a good
think
perspective.
when we hear fee for service, we align that with expensive. But it doesn't always have to be a $2,000 crown. It can still be a $1,200 crown, which, I mean, whatever you think of that, but it's not a 400 and not a $600 crown,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So I think when people start a fee for service practice, they immediately, what's your crown? 1,800 with the build up 2,200, right? No, like if you could choose, you could probably do between $1,000 and $1,400 crown, if you want to be nice and depending on who, or, higher end stuff. But still, there's a huge difference between that. And I remember I saw a $319 crown, which is like
Yeah.
How
crazy.
can you do that? Yeah.
Yeah. And that'd be an interesting system where it's either Medicaid or I hate to call it Medicaid, extremely low insurance reimbursement or set your price and nothing in between. And I feel like that in between squeezes a lot of dentists. Um, so in terms of your social media, have you gotten any job offers, or like have any doctors or patients even been like either come to you because they saw you, or your current patients are like, hey, my friend sent your post to me.
Yeah.
It's great.
So far, none of that.
Okay.
So I because my page is mainly focused for dentists, it's not it's dentist oriented, it's not patients oriented.
Right.
Patients don't understand what I say about the 29 MOG, about the X-ray when I make jokes about some other dental blogger. So the focus is dentist. I don't know, maybe because I post my failures, I don't get I don't get any
Well,
offers.
but I want to correct. You have posted some failures, but like the first video I ever saw about you was like, I think you called it like a mid crown prep, and you threw down a nice shoulder margin. It was a molar, and then you've kind of poked at this a couple other times, like the old people versus the young people. And I relate. I work with a 79-year-old dentist, and he literally just had me redo all of his teeth. I prepped every tooth in his head, and I've done shoulders. I learned shoulders in dental school.
Yeah.
I do about a 1 millimeter shoulder on molars, and I try and go between 0.5 and a 1 on all other teeth. And he's known this. He's watched me prep hundreds of teeth here over the last 3 or 4 years. And he asked me to do all of his teeth. And he's like trying to ask me, like, no, I want, I don't really want those margins. I want these like really thin margins like I do. But if you look at his teeth, his preps are like this. They're teepees with tiny margins. And mine have thicker margins, but very vertical walls. I don't know why I'm going down this tangent, but I like that you brought up those posts. And I would have argued that it wasn't a mid prep, and you used the word failure. And I'm like, we've all perfed a tooth, we've all had accidents, we've all had bad outcomes. I don't love the F word with failure. I love that you're learning. And I feel like that's what you're actually promoting on your page is like, here's my crown prep. Is it the best thing I'm going to do in my career? God, I hope not, but it's fine. It's going to be fine. And that has so much value in my opinion.
And you also cannot evaluate the success only by its prep, because I, I I didn't post how the tooth was looking before that. So
Nope.
and another thing is that we don't know the circumstances around the prep. We don't know
The
any.
patient.
Yeah,
Yep.
maybe I'm
Nothing.
redoing crowns. Who knows? Yeah, but the whole point was just to support the dentist.
Yeah.
Do you want to open your own practice? It almost sounded like you did.
Yes, I would do it right away if I could. Like, I feel like it's not it looks like it's hard. It looks like it takes a lot of time and effort, but the pros that your own practice will give is much better, because whenever you're an associate, you have to work for the systems that is like the office where I worked. So she bought that office in one of them in 1984. So all of the systems, it feels like,
Are ancient.
yeah, still from there. It's not all the offices where I work. In one of the offices where I work, we do same day crowns. We do a lot of cool stuff. We have in-house dental technician. It's also cool.
You're telling me you work for Dr. Appa?
Me? No.
You're trying.
You said I want to work for Dr. Appa?
No. Like, in-house ceramist, in-house technician, all these big
Yeah.
shots, everything is in-house.
Another thing about Dr. Appa. So, after I post the video about guess who's not going to be in Epstein file, and there's like Dr. Appa,
Yeah.
I made it for fun. But then at night, like I woke up at like 4 a.m. Or 5 a.m. and then I was checking comments, and then one of the guys, I saw him on Dental National before, but he commented he actually is in Epstein's file. I'm like, what? No way. So I
Yeah.
opened.
Tony, you didn't see this? Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I opened the website, the government website that you can open, like
Right.
you can try to search it.
Yep.
So I searched it. He really is in there. I at night made a video amazing video, like how I'm looking it up, how I'm like, oh no, like he's really there. But then my wife woke up and she's like, you know that Trump is going to the dentist in his office, right? But to the different dentist, not to Dr. Appa, to Dr. Rosenthal. And she's like, you know that you don't have like citizenship yet, right? So
Uh,
because my wife like got afraid, and like there's a reason to be afraid, you know. And
yeah,
after I posted, I got like immediately like 3K views, like 10, like a lot of activity. But then I had to remove it because what she says makes sense. So I
Yeah.
had
yeah,
And
yeah.
I think if we all came into that, because I had an idea, there's there's a video of me in dental school. We had a bench press in our apartment because why wouldn't we? And I'm like I'm smoking a cigarette while bench pressing. And and I like there's this like trend on Instagram. It's more fitness related, but it's like, who I was versus who I am
Yeah.
now, right? And then you forget sometimes that, like you said, your situation's way more fragile and extreme than ours. We're American citizens.
We lost him
You,
again.
yeah. So you post something like that actually can ruin a career. So that, we can use social media for good. Maybe I've been a little too I'm not going to post that. But if you had a little bit, and I hate this, it's going to coming out sounding weird. If you had a little bit more fear about, your actions online, I think you could act a little more properly, right? Like everyone now is like, oh, they want to be honest and true on social media, which is what you're doing, Dr. Artyom. But there are limits. Like I made a post about, it's like your doctor at 3 a.m. and they're out clubbing and partying, and then it's like your doctor at 8 a.m. Like, I was like, no, no, no. I want to know that my dentist got 10 hours of sleep if he's going to put an implant in my mouth. Like, I don't want to know that. So it's all good and fun to be honest on social media. I think that's very important, but I've actually changed my opinion that you still need to be proper. It is still a representation of yourself. And Dr. Artem, you seem like a real stand-up guy. One of the last things, Tony, unless you have something that you want to talk about, is with English being your second language, communication with patients. We find that a lot of docs, they're focusing more on the crown or, the filling, as opposed to, we're going to get you out of pain. We're going to protect that tooth. You're going to be able to eat. So what have you learned, and how do you go about communicating with your patients, especially since English is not your first language?
So I'm trying to use all the tricks what Dr. Webster says. I'm trying to use all the tricks from Dental Nachos. I have all the um, pictures with the cracks in the teeth around the amalgam. I
Hmm.
I on most of my patients for hygiene checks, I use intraoral camera because to
Hmm.
communicate well, whatever I say, they need to imagine what I see, which is almost
Picture's worth 1,000 words.
yeah, which is impossible to do. Even if you know English, like it's hard. You have only like 5 minutes to do an exam,
Hmm.
so that helps. Intraoral camera helps.
Yeah. That's such a good tangible thing that costs $250 that if your office doesn't have one, my first office I worked in didn't have one. Don't buy the $2,500 one. I literally bought a $250 one and I took it from op to op with me.
Yeah.
And I completely agree. I'd snap an image and articulating to a patient the cracks on I'd call them like spider web cracks on their teeth, and they'd look at me like I'm a crazy person. And then I would take the picture of that molar with the amalgam and they'd be like, oh my gosh, I totally get what you're saying now.
There,
So yeah.
there's a guy on YouTube with also big podcast, Jazz Bulati, and I was listening to one of his podcasts when he said there's intraoral camera for $20, and it also does the job. So during dental school, I bought one of them. And I can show you pictures. They're not as good, but patients still able to see most of the time.
Hmm.
So um, Even
$20. Great.
I carry it in my backpack all the time whenever I go like around the offices. So even if they don't have a intraoral camera, I still have my own, which is not as good, but still works.
But it works.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I totally suggest new grads, $20. I would even say 250 is like almost a no-brainer if your clinic doesn't have one. It protects you legally if you're taking pictures
Mhm.
preoperatively, intra caries removal, post caries removal, post buildup, and then on seat. Like I always say, if you want to dodge any lawsuit, you take those 5 pictures, you pretty much just guaranteed yourself no lawsuit because you're going to show those to any attorney. You're going to be good. You're going to show the pictures to a patient. They're going to be like, I'm so happy I did this crown. Look at all these things you fixed for me.
And
It's that
honestly,
huge value.
if you take a picture and you see that something is insufficient, I feel like it'll turn you into, because we have that angel and the devil where it's like, oh man, the margin's just a hair open, and you're like, oh, it'll be fine. But no, like take that picture and now there's no way in hell you're gonna see that crown. Right.
No,
So I think it does make you a better dentist. I mean,
That's
Dr.
totally
Artyom,
agree.
honestly, I could talk to you for another hour. There are like a million things people want to know, I want to know, but anything that you want to tell the world about you or what you're doing. I think your story, inspiring is a little overused, but I think, Tony, you put it real well, perspective, right?
yeah.
Hmm.
The multiple jobs, the language, providing for family members, not just your wife and kids, and still doing all of this. We have the capability to do much more. So, I mean, anything you want to tell the wonderful people.
Yeah. I I will try to help the life of the dentist like slightly easier by like doing the content about the failure. So don't stress too much. We're not
Hmm.
robots. If I was reading this on one of the dental group on Facebook yesterday, if if employee can mess up making a burger, the same in the McDonald's, we can also mess up the stuff like on the microsurgery, or like we're the same humans as any other as our patient.
Hmm.
So just don't stress yourself, and also for maybe myself in future. And so at some point, I hope that I'll break to some extent free, because now it's hard.
You will.
Yeah.
You will.
Yeah.
You guys, I'm still not fully there, but I like what you've described. I'm starting to like press my way through some of those levels, and you're so right. And I always felt and thought like you. I wanted the education. I wanted to grow my skills. Like I said, I'm still not even close to anywhere near where I want to be, but I think you're so right, and I agree that I hope you're right because that's the trajectory I want to stay on. I want to thank you as well. Hopping on a Sunday morning, working 6 days a week, man, that's crazy. And so the listeners, he's working 6 days a week and he's working all day today, so that's awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for inviting me to speak. I appreciate it. This is the first dental podcast in English for me, so I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You guys can continue in Russian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we know I can already see it 6 months to a year, Dr. Artyom, owner of Honest Dental, you know. So
Oh,
I
love that.
I had the um I had an idea before, maybe to open something like a small, not the whole practice, but just a one op, when just I can check to the level of knowledge that I have and to my experience, just to advertise my business as second opinion business. So whenever people go
Mm.
to DSO, someone can use it. I don't mind. Like, do
mhm,
it.
Yeah,
It's going to be a good
yeah.
idea. The problem is that the dentistry like a spectrum. So someone can say this, another like this
mhm.
recipe. Um, but I had this idea of also being like honest with the patient. Like if I
Mhm.
think I don't have enough experience to like to double check the dentist with like
You do.
first year sometimes.
It's funny. I think we all do. Maybe not straight out of dental school, but I mean, being in the real world, and if you are constantly on these Facebook groups, I mean, I've learned so much, just in terms of just diagnosis, not even treatment planning, just diagnosis. Um, and I think you do. I really think you do, Dr. Artyom. I mean, this is crazy for us to tell you, but don't put yourself down like that. You are probably one of the more honest and genuine dentists out there. And I have no doubts that when, not if, but when you open your practice, I mean, it, people are going to love being there, honestly.
Yeah,
And,
people
and
love
saturated.
honesty.
Yeah. People saturated, not saturated. Like, nothing is better than the truth and honesty. So, go tend to your family and all these other foreign dentists who want to follow in your footsteps. Thank you again a million times,
Okay.
and we'll talk to you soon.
Yep. Thanks, guys.